Masked agents paid by our own tax dollars violate the Constitution and visit terror upon our neighbors.
New York has drawn a hard line. The city is pushing back, and ICE is at the center of a growing national storm. Today, New York City has taken a bold and controversial step that is sending shockwaves across the United States. Mayor Zohran Mamdani has signed new executive orders that sharply limit the operations of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, known as ICE, inside New York City. This is not a symbolic move. This is not just political messaging. This is a direct challenge to federal immigration enforcement and a clear statement of where New York stands. What exactly did Mayor Mamdani sign? The new executive orders strengthen New York City's status as a sanctuary city and place firm restrictions on how ICE can operate within city limits. Under these orders, ICE agents cannot enter New York City-run buildings, including schools, hospitals, shelters, and administrative offices, without a judicial warrant signed by a judge. City agencies are prohibited from sharing personal data with ICE unless legally required. A new interagency response structure will coordinate how the city reacts if ICE attempts enforcement actions that violate local policy. City departments will undergo internal audits to ensure no cooperation occurs outside the law. In simple terms, no warrant, no entry, no cooperation. Why is this happening now? This move comes amid a renewed national crackdown on immigration enforcement. Federal authorities have increased ICE operations in several states, triggering protests, legal battles, and widespread fear in immigrant communities. Across the country, cities are facing the same question. Do local governments cooperate fully with federal immigration enforcement, or do they draw boundaries? Mayor Mamdani has chosen a clear answer. Mamdani's message, in his statement, Mamdani made it clear. New York City will not allow fear to define daily life. He framed the decision not only as a legal issue, but as a moral one. According to the mayor, residents should feel safe sending their children to school, visiting hospitals, and reporting crimes, without worrying that immigration agents will be waiting for them. He emphasized that city resources exist to serve residents, not to act as extensions of federal enforcement. Is this really new? Critics argue that New York has long been a sanctuary city, and that these policies already existed. But supporters say this order goes further. It tightens enforcement, clarifies gray areas, and forces accountability inside city agencies. This is not just policy on paper. It is policy with teeth. Political reaction, sharply divided, supporters call the move courageous. Immigrant advocacy groups say it restores trust between communities and local government. Civil rights organizations describe it as a necessary firewall against overreach. But opponents see something very different. Critics argue the mayor is obstructing federal law. Some say this move encourages illegal immigration. Others warn it could lead to a direct legal showdown between New York City and the federal government. The political divide is deep and growing. Federal versus local power, the bigger fight, this decision goes far beyond New York. It highlights a fundamental conflict in the United States. Who has the final authority? Federal enforcement age, MCs, or local governments? Can cities set their own limits, or must they comply fully with federal immigration policy? New York is not alone, but as the largest city in the country, its stance carries enormous weight. What happens here could influence cities nationwide. What happens next? Legal challenges are likely. Federal pushback is expected. Political pressure will increase. For now, the message from City Hall is unmistakable. New York will protect its residents. New York will demand warrants. New York will not cooperate quietly. This is not the end of